In this video, we're going to look at the graphs of our three new trig functions, secx, cosecx, and cotx. If you skipped over the last video, I'm going to begin this one by just defining what these are, but make sure you go back and watch the first video, the chapter, at some point. All right, so in the last video, we developed these three new trig functions. We had secx, which was 1 over cos x, and maybe I should be a bit more precise here. It is identical to, it's literally defined to be that. And we had cosec x, the cosecant, which was defined to be 1 over sine x. And then we had the cotangent, or cot x, which was defined to be 1 over tan x. But remember, there's another useful way of thinking about it, which is cos x over sine x. All right, we're going to look at the graphs of these. I'm just going to show you the graphs and we're going to think about why they are as they are. Okay, so in all their glory, here are the three graphs. This one here is y equals sec x. Let's think about why this works. So I'm going to sketch y equals cos x onto the same axes, and we'll kind of see where we get the sec graph from. So cos of 0 is 1. And it goes down to 0 at 90. It has a minimum point at 180, goes back to 0 at 270, back to 1 at 360 and down, and then it's just a mirror image on the left-hand side, root there, minimum point there, root there, maximum there, and away. So can we see where the sec graph comes from? Remember, sec is 1 divided by cos. So 1 divided by 1 is 1. And then as cos gets smaller and smaller and smaller, when you do 1 divided by something getting smaller and smaller and smaller, you get bigger and bigger and bigger. And as cos x approaches 0, sec x approaches infinity. And then there's this point where cos x is like 0.0001 and sec x is 10,000 or something. And then shortly after that, cos x is minus 0.0001. Well, then sec x just pops down to minus 10,000. So it kind of pops from positive infinity down to negative infinity. And then as cos x gets closer and closer to minus 1, when you do 1 divided by that, you get closer and closer to minus 1. And then as cos x goes back to 0, 1 over cos x just shoots down to minus infinity, pops back to positive infinity when cos goes positive, and back down to 1 as cos goes up to 1. So we're going to see where this graph comes from. Right, what about sec x? Well, sec x is plotted here. Sorry, cosec x. And cosec x is 1 over sine x. So let's plot sine x and see what's going on. Sine x starts at 0, has a maximum point at 90, 0 at 180, minimum of minus 1 at 270, 0 at 360, and so on. And then in the other direction, it's just the same thing. Back down to minus 1, root at minus 180, maximum at 270, root at minus 360, and so on. And the logic is identical, right? Sine of 0 is 0, so cosec x doesn't exist there. But as soon as we depart from 0, we've got some enormous value for cosec because it's 1 divided by something tiny. And as sine x goes up to 1, 1 divided by sine x, cosec x comes down to 1. And as sine x goes down to 0, cosec x shoots up to infinity. So exactly the same logic. And you'll notice that since sine x and cosine x are just translations of each other, sec x and cosec x are also just translations of each other. Okay, finally here, we've got y equals cot x. And we're going to think about cot x as being 1 over tan x. Remember, there's two ways. There's 1 over tan x and cos x over sine x, both legitimate ways to think about cot, but we're going to think about it as 1 over tan x. So let's sketch tan x. Tan x starts at 0, and then it shoots up to infinity when x is 90. It comes back from infinity, minus infinity, and goes through 0 at 180, and then up to infinity. And then this pattern just continues forever and ever and ever. And it's the same thing on the other side. Down from 0 down to minus infinity, back from positive infinity, root at negative 180, and an asymptote at minus 270, back from positive infinity, and so on. So you can see some nice things. One is that cot x and tan x are just reflections of each other, which is nice. Line of symmetry is a bit weird. It's, I think, 45, but nevertheless, they are reflections. And you can see that it makes sense because when tan x is 0, or when tan x is close to 0, cot x is huge. And as tan x departs from 0, cot x starts to decrease, and then when tan x is 1 at 45 degrees, cot x is 1 as well. And then as tan x shoots up to infinity, cot x goes down to 0. Now tan x pops back to minus infinity and is now a very big negative number, so cot x is a very small negative number. And as tan x goes back to 0, cot x goes down to negative infinity. So it's nice to understand where these graphs come from. Okay, let's have a look at a few questions that ask us to sketch transformations of these. So can we sketch y equals cosec x minus 1 between minus 360 and 360? So let's flip back here. Well, here is cosec x, this one here, this red one. So if we're sketching cosec x minus 1, we've just got to drop this down by 1. So all of these minimum points, rather than being at 1, are going to drop down to 0. And all of these little local maximums here are going to drop down to negative 2. So all I need to do here is appreciate that it starts at from infinity, and it's going to come down, and it's going to touch at 0 there, and then back to infinity, and that is between 0 and that's 90, and that's 180. And then it's going to come back from negative infinity, but it's only going to reach minus 2. And back down it goes. And we can even put a dotted line if we want for the asymptote. Well, there's an asymptote at the y-axis. And then we've got the same pattern here. And then an asymptote. And then down it comes and touches here. Okay, well, let's just mark in a few key points. That's 180. That's 360 here. And then we've got negative 180 here. And then this point here is minus 270, and then a final asymptote at minus 360. So there's a not particularly neat, but attempt at a sketch of that. Oh, the other thing I should do is say that and I haven't drawn these even remotely the same height. They're supposed to be the same height like this. That point there is minus 2 because the turning point on cosec is minus 1 here, and it's dropped down by 1 because it's cosec x minus 1. Let's have a look at another sketch. Can we draw 2 sec x plus 3? Okay, there's two things going on here. So it's a double transformation. So I'm going to draw a rough sketch here. So the first thing to do is think about what 2 sec x looks like. So that's going to be our green sec graph here, but doubled, which means everything gets stretched away from the x-axis. One thing to notice is I'm sketching between minus pi and pi, so we're working in radians here. Remember, pi radians is equivalent to 180 degrees, so you can think about it as being between minus 180 and 180. So let's just check. Sec x is sort of goes up from 1 up to infinity, back from minus infinity, and then we're going to stop at the 180 mark, or the pi radians mark. So 2 sec x is the same shape, it's just all stretched up a bit. So rather than y-intercept of 1, it's a y-intercept of 2. And we're going up to infinity, and then we've got an asymptote at, well, it would be 90 degrees, but it's pi over 2 radians, and then back here, and, well, actually, I'll just stop there because that's pi radians. And then on the negative side, up we go to positive infinity, and then an asymptote, and then back we come, and there we stop. And key thing is that this is 2 here, and this is minus 2 here because we had 2 sec x stretched out. So what I've sketched here is y equals 2 sec x. So now I need to add 3 to this because it's 2 sec x plus 3, which means all of these minimum points, which were at -2, are going to move up to 1, and this point here is going to move up to 5. So I've got a turning point up at 5 here, and my graph is going to come down and cut through at 5, and then up it goes. That's points 5. And then these turning points here, rather than being -2, they're going to move up 3 to -1. So I've got my asymptote here, which is at pi/2. And then we're going to come up from -infinity, but we're going to turn at 1. And then actually that's where I need to stop, isn't it? Because I need to drop to pi radians. And that's pi/2. And that's 0. And then this height here is 1. And then I also come up from -infinity here and stop there, because that is minus pi radians, and the asymptote here was at -pi/2 radians. All right, one more question. Can we sketch y equals cot of x minus pi/3 between -pi and pi? All right, so that is a translation, and it's a translation of cot x pi/3 units to the right. So we'll remind ourselves what cot x looks like. So cot x looks like this, and that's between 0 and that's pi/2, and that's pi here at that asymptote, and then it would come down, and it just repeats this pattern forever and ever and ever. And that's minus pi/2 here, and then we've got an asymptote at pi here. So all I want to do is I want to shift this pi/3 units to the right. So this asymptote now is not going to be at 0, it's going to be at pi/3. So pi/2 is bigger than pi/3, so we're going to shift it over a little bit, like this. And then I'm going to come down from positive infinity, and then think about where we've actually hit the axis here. Well, it was pi/2, but I've shifted it over pi/3. So what's pi/2 plus pi/3? Well, you can work it out on a calculator if you like, but it's 5 pi/6. So that root there is 5 pi/6. Now this is going to, well, this would go all the way down to -infinity here, but that asymptote is at pi, and so it's got shifted along to pi plus pi/3, which is beyond the range that we need to sketch. So I can kind of basically just stop this here. Okay, we're going to come back from -infinity here. Now, where's our root? Well, it was at minus pi/2 here, but it's going to get shifted pi/3 to the right. So minus pi/2 plus pi/3 is minus pi/6. So our root is going to be nice and close here. And so I come back from -infinity and I cut through at minus pi/6. And then up to infinity there. So that point there is minus pi/6. Where's this asymptote? Well, this asymptote here was at pi/3, and the asymptotes are always spaced out pi apart because it just repeats every 180 degrees or pi radians. So I can find where this asymptote is by just taking my previous asymptote, pi/3, and subtracting pi. That gets me that this one is minus 2 pi/3. I just need to then come back from -infinity and go a little way along, but not too far, because it only needs to go back to minus pi. Okay, appreciate that's quite a lot to take in, particularly if you're new to radians, but you do need to develop the ability to feel comfortable with these new trig graphs and to work in degrees and radians. The more you practice radians, the more this kind of thing is not going to seem super weird and super strange. It's just going to feel comfortable. So if this seemed a bit baffling, maybe come back to this once you've done plenty more practice working with radians. All right, that's all for now. I'll see you in the next video.